Hi guys, today we are going to be looking at dollar store motor oils. How do they compare against well-known brands, and should you trust them in your vehicle? First of all, we have the Phillips 66 branded oil from 99-cent store. This was $2.99. Next up, we have the DG Auto branded 10W30 from Dollar General at $3.25. Then we have these two SMB branded motor oils from Dollar Tree. First up, we have the Phillips 66 Shield Choice 10W30 from the 99-cent store. This motor oil is the only one in the lineup with a well-known name, Phillips 66. Now, ConocoPhillips actually manufactures their own lubricants. Of all the lubricant manufacturers out there, they are one of the largest as well. So it would not surprise me if Phillips 66 is actually manufactured indeed by ConocoPhillips. First of all, looking at this bottle, we can see that it has an API for gasoline engines certified seal on there, indicating that it is indeed approved by the American Petroleum Institute. Looking on the back, we have service SN LSAC GF5. According to this bottle, it is certified by the API, American Petroleum Institute, to the latest specifications, with the SN service category and the GF5 rating. If we look down here, we can see it's made in the USA, distributed by Phillips 66 of Houston. So we know for sure that this oil is manufactured in the United States and distributed by Phillips 66. Question is, who actually manufactures it? And if we don't know who actually manufactures it, that's not always a problem. Many oils are rebranded, as we can see here. Their quality is not always compromised just because they are rebranded. Next up, we have the Dollar General High Mileage Motor Oil. Now, high mileage motor oil usually means nothing more than one or two additives added inside the motor oil to make it pertain to older and higher mileage vehicles. These additives are usually a seal conditioner, which usually helps expand seals or condition them to a state that they're not brittle and leaking anymore, and it may include more detergent. Detergent is added to pretty much every modern motor oil that's used in passenger cars, and that actually helps break down sludge, and it also prevents sludge from occurring. So these high mileage motor oils might have a little more detergents and seal conditioners added in them. That's the only difference between this and the typical non-high mileage motor oil that we would see next to it on the shelf. Looking at the front, we don't see any API seal on there. We don't see the graphic of the API seal that many motor oils have, but it does say API service SN and ILSEC GF5, which are the most recent API ratings. Looking on the back here, we then see again API service SN. We also see that it's made in the USA of domestic and foreign content. Well, that means that it could be blended in the United States using crude oil and petroleum products from other countries, which is totally reasonable and many times happens anyway. We notice that it says it meets or exceeds API, SN, SM, or SL, and ILSEC, GF5 or GF4 requirements for use in automotive engines. The SN category supersedes the SM and SL category to begin with. So we know that if the SN category is met, SM and SL are redundant because they are the older categories. Looking at this, we can see that it really seems to be a reasonably certified motor oil. We see that it is distributed by Dolgen Corp out of Tennessee, obviously the Dollar General Corporation. Next up is the Dollar Tree motor oil. This is SMB or Superior Motoring Benefits branded motor oil. This motor oil has a brand called SMB that nobody would be familiar with, and it is also sold for $1. Now, these containers are half-quart bottles, so to make a full quart of this, you would need 2, and that would equate to obviously $2. But at the price of $2, it is significantly cheaper than the $2.99 alternative from 99-cent store or other high-quality motor oils. This would cause even more skepticism. So let's take a look at these. First of all, we notice there's two separate bottles. At first glance, you might think, okay, this is some sort of conventional and this is synthetic, just because of common marketing we see with silver or metallic colored bottles being a synthetic motor oil. However, at closer look, these labels are exactly the same. If we take a look at the back here, we can also see that they are exactly the same. So maybe the silver bottle is a marketing attempt at making you think that the motor oil is higher quality. However, these two are labeled exactly the same. So let's just take a look at one. First of all, we see SMB Superior Motoring Benefits Synthetic Blend 10W30 SAE motor oil. This has the American Petroleum Institute certification label on there. It has the API SN GF5 rating, made in the United States. On the back we see Synthetic Blend 10W30 motor oil. It says it meets American Petroleum Institute's highest automotive standards for high temperature protection, API SN ILSAC GF5, GF4, GF3. Exceeds car manufacturer's requirements, API service SN SM SLSJ. Well, once again, these are redundant if we have the newest rating. Same with the GF. The GF3, GF4 are redundant if you have the GF5. We can also see that it has the API Service SN stamp on the back. Many people online actually question if the API rating that you see at many of these dollar store oils is in fact true. Many people would believe that since it's just easy to print that it's API certified doesn't mean it necessarily is. However, if a motor oil prints that it is API certified, it is undeniably unethical for it to not be API certified because API has a list of certifications online. Because of that, we can go online and we can actually see if these motor oils are indeed API certified. We're here at the API website. The API has a large list of companies that are licensed. A quick search for SMB reveals no brands under that name. A search for Superior yields also one brand under that name that is a different company. Now, if we look on the back of the motor oil, we can see that it is distributed by Vantage Brands. So a search for Vantage Brands yields a listing with our motor oil under the SMB name with the up-to-date service category listed. Similarly, a search for the Doll GenCorp motor oil reveals that it is indeed licensed under API also with the correct service category. Last but not least, a search for Phillips reveals that Phillips has multiple brands of motor oil under their name. If we select the right one, we can see the Shield Choice 10W30 also has the correct service category and ILSAC designation that it states on the bottle. You may be wondering, what is the SN service category? Well, the SN service category is the most recent category that's been defined by API to meet the specifications that are most likely necessary for vehicles made after 2011. For vehicles made before 2011, an SM category motor oil may be sufficient, so on and so forth for 2004-2001. We can, however, take the quality check one step further. The Petroleum Quality Institute of America is an organization that tests and evaluates consumer motor oils to see if they are good quality and in fact safe to drive. A quick search for our SMB brand reveals nothing. A search for the Vantage brand reveals one category, and as we saw by the API, Vantage Brands LLC distributes two brands of motor oil, Vantage and SMB. Because the labels are exactly the same, we're going to assume that the motor oil that Vantage brand uses is the same motor oil that is in the SMB branded oils. According to the PQIA, the results of the tests on the sample meet SAE specifications and are consistent with listed API service categories. Similarly, we will check the DG Auto brand, and we can see that a DG Auto brand motor oil purchased in June of 2017 reveals that the tests are consistent with listed API service categories. Last but not least, the Phillips 66 Shield Choice also meets listed API service categories. So now that we've taken a look at these various brands of motor oil and grabbed some quantitative information regarding the dollar store brands, It's up to you whether you want to use these in your vehicle or not. However, the conclusion that I would say is drawn from these dollar store motor oils is that they at least meet the specifications that you would most likely need in your vehicle. None of these motor oils is under-certified in the passenger car motor oil category, meaning that you should be able to use all of these brands in your vehicle without a problem. If you learned something, be sure to like and subscribe.